Hello, everyone. I'm Katrina. This is Sow and Tare live chats. We do this every Monday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and except for the first Monday of the night, no Monday of the night, every Monday night, except for the first Monday of the month, it is on Thursday at 6. So, welcome everyone. I hope everybody is having a good time, doing good. Hopefully, everybody's safe. I see everybody here has power. For those watching later, congratulations on having power at the time you watch it. Hopefully. All right. So, um, today I have a topic of discussion which is pretty good, but I want to see what you guys have going on first. And we'll get started. See who's here. All right. Verna's here. Vay's place is Verna. She's in blue with a little wrench. And she's moderator. Hello, Verna. Welcome. She says, hey, Katrina. First like, first comment. LOL. You finally beat out between Steve, huh? Okay. This is the neighbor that calls me every time I have a live chat, which is fine. Okay. So, yeah, how much snow did you end up with? We didn't have any snow. We are not in, I'm in Oregon. We did not have the big blast. It was 28 this morning. It's supposed to be, depending on what you look at, between 37 and 41 tonight. It's 41 right now. I don't know that I believe that. I think we're always going to be colder in the winter. Hopefully it freezes because I have taps and trees. Taps are doing well. All right, Erica's here. Welcome, welcome, Erica. And Erica is a member of Katrina's Kits. So is Verna. And we made things yesterday. We made Hoppin' Johns. I called it Jumping Johns, and that was incorrect. Hoppin' Johns, which is a bunch of stuff. What is it? Black-eyed peas, bacon, rice, seasonings, pepper, and I did it in rabbit stock. And then we did collard greens, but instead of collards, I did cabbage. And we made, which also has bacon in it, and made cornbread. So we made a full meal yesterday. If you would like to view that or become a member and just view those, attend future ones, or just look at all the ones that we did already. You can look at the past ones. It's a Cook With Me Live. We do every month. And this next month is going to be on the 15th. It's a Sunday. And we are making flan or flan, however you want to say it. I've heard flan. I was most recently corrected to flan. I don't know which one it is. It's tasty. All right. They are here. Have to move the computer desk. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Buster's here. Hey to all. Hey Buster. Hope you're doing well. How's the weather? Yeah, and Erica, do you have power? I know you have power, but does your area have power? Her power went out. 12 plus inches at Verna's. All right. And Buster's asking Verna, is she staying safe? And yes, she is. Have to stay warm. Yeah. Yeah. The cold is worse than the snow. How cold? Yeah, because you guys got negatives, right? Are you in the super negative area? That sounds weird. Are you in the area that got down to super negatives? I don't know at what point it's super negative. That's a term I'm making up. Yeah. I mean, you can tape your window, or tape your door, so it doesn't get anything. There's lots of things you can do to keep warm, and hopefully power is there so you can use the power driven heat sources, and then hopefully if you don't have that, you have a secondary heat. Be careful with heating that you're not doing carbon monoxide. So, all right. Oh, we're gonna move the desk to a warmer area. Oh, that's right, because you were by the front, huh? All right. Erica's power was restored last night. Awesome. Yeah, I saw there was like over 1 million people without power. Yeah. Everything's still closed because of the ice. Yeah. Are you guys even close to even warming up? Like, what's in the forecast for you guys? Oh, -1 tonight, but tomorrow will be -6, Verna says. So you had a warm up. Buster got down to -5. Yeah. At some point, it doesn't matter how much colder it gets, right? At some point. We don't know what the point is. Yeah. Putting this behind me. Sorry. Gotta get comfy. Yeah, so it hasn't been cold here like that. It got down to 21 one night. That's the coldest I think it's been this winter. Last winter, I think we got down to 16 or 14 or something. But it got close to the record for here last winter. This winter's been somewhat mild and has not had nearly as much precipitation. Yeah. Wind chill. Oh, tomorrow Buster's going to be at 6. Congratulations. Yeah, and for those in Fahrenheit, 6 is positive, but for those in Celsius, 6 is very negative still. All right. Wind chills make it so bad. Like right now, wind chill -11. Yeah, and the thing is, you can get that wind burn too, on your cheeks and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Erica says single digit low expected tonight, but supposed to start warming up tomorrow. Good. Now, does warming up mean 6 degrees, or does warming up mean like it might melt one day? Oh my goodness. Okay, Verna says I'll be up most of the night finishing moving things, including Lucy's cave. Are you just heating a part of your apartment right now? Like trying to block off that front part? Is that what's happening? Yeah. Yeah. About 40 tomorrow, Erica says. Okay. That is a warm up. And Buster will be at 25. My goodness. My goodness. Well, do you guys have any lessons learned or tips for getting away from the draft area? That was exactly what I was saying, Verna. I was like, oh, you must be getting away from that front window that you have and the door. Yeah. Makes sense. So do you guys have tips? So everybody who's in the chat right now is in an area that's cold. I want you guys to share some tips that you have either done or experienced to help other people in the cold, like that are experiencing cold. We should have done this last week, I think. That's okay. Tomorrow's high will be 22 at Verna's. That'll be nice. No, hopefully sunny, because the sun helps a lot. Yeah, but if you guys could share tips to people to keep things warm, keep things running, all of that. I know one tip is to open your cupboards under your sink so that the heat from your house can warm the pipes, and to leave your faucets just barely dripping, because moving water doesn't freeze. So that would be one tip I have, because you don't want your water to freeze in your house or under your house and then have it thaw and just go everywhere. Yeah, so that would be one thing. Verna says, not if it's windy. That wind goes through these leaky door and windows. Yep. Yep. Yeah. I know I have more insulation to do in the ceiling. I'm going to do it after people are done being up there. I have some more things to happen up there before that happens. And then I also need to like spot check my walls for insulation, because my whole bedroom wasn't insulated, like never had insulation in it. Like no, like not that my mice got in and pulled it out, but that it never existed. And we found that out when the guys put in a window where there wasn't a window and a door where there was a window, and they came and got me. They're like, you have no insulation. And so I had them put that in. But we just did that for that room, and I have a feeling much of the house will be like that. Now I know the bathroom I think is insulated, but that's the middle of the house. And then I know this wall here is insulated. It was insulated with some stuff. It looked like some critters had carried away things during the years. But there was some really old insulation in there. And then when they had that wall opened up, we just put in insulation there. But that's an interior wall. So I want the exterior walls to be insulated. I think it used to be maybe an exterior. Okay, this is from Verna. Turn your water on to a small, steady stream so that the pipes don't freeze up. Yes, good advice. Erica says, we had to turn off the water last night. Running water will freeze if it gets cold enough. So you just turned it off at the source and then didn't allow it into your camper or into your small house? Yeah. Okay. Right. So Erica says we get our water from a hose that hasn't been buried yet. Those who don't know, Erica's living in it's a camper trailer, right? Anyway, it's a small space. And they are fixing up a old farm. Yeah, camper. Okay. Yeah. And Verna says nothing is insulated here. Should be. My goodness. Not even the double pane windows. They don't have the glass in them. Oh, the gas in them that they were supposed to have. So they put double pane windows in, but it doesn't. That has failed. That sucks a lot. A lot. Yeah. I know this year is not as cold as last year, but just with the window replacements that happened last year, the windows are much like it gives the windows and the door, it gives it a lot more insulation for sure. Verna, oh my goodness. Yeah. Unfortunately, some people do that with rentals. They don't care what it is. And that sucks. A lot. Yeah. All right. So we have pay attention to your water, basically. Slumlords. Exactly. Exactly. What other tips you guys have? Watering animals using rubber buckets. I used to have some in here, but using rubber bowls is a good thing because you can literally like throw it on the ground, stomp on it, or squeeze it with your hands, depending on how much solid is there. Sometimes having buckets of water inside your house. So if you don't have, like, I have frost-free hydrants, and so up here by the animals, it shouldn't ever freeze because the frost-free hydrants, you open it up and it starts to flow. It takes a little bit to flow because it has to flow up the thing. It's not just right there. And then when you close it all the way, it drains down, and there's a hole at the bottom of the upright that it drains into. So that's what it is up there, and so it shouldn't ever freeze. But if you don't have that kind of water access, bringing buckets of water into your house or starting with them in your house and having them in your house so that you can go out and change water for your animals works good. Some people, like for quail in cages or hutches, some people have containers of water that they'll just take out a couple times a day, swap them out, bring that one inside, let it melt. That one's out there. They'll drink while it's freezing, basically. But yeah, the other thing is if you're collecting eggs at this time of year, you got to be on it because they can freeze. Yeah. Desiree's here. Hello, she says. Hello. How is your weather? Okay. Verna says, I put a wind block on Lucy's cave as I was tired of seeing her curl up to stay warm. Poor girl. Poor girl. Okay, Buster says put stock heater in stock tanks. Awesome idea. Heat tape is also a thing that I've never used, but I actually was considering getting some, and I haven't used it ever. But it could work. Anime says my 5-week-old Surama chick started crowing recently, and I thought he was fighting his sister because it sounds so goofy. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Cold and snowy, she says. All right. Cold and snowy. Yeah. Cold and snowy, all that. We had, I think it's only snowed once. Am I right with that? I think it's only snowed once so far this year, or this season. It might have been a couple days, I don't remember, but it was one time period, I think it was just one day, 1 or 2 days. But yeah. They say we might get rain. I don't know. I got a thing on my phone that says it's gonna rain tonight last night, and I was like, nope, didn't rain. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, Verna says while we freeze, Katrina will be in a heat wave. It really, I mean, it's been in the 20s at night or low 30s, which is fine, but like it got up to, I think it was 51 today when I went out to feed animals this after work. I think it was 51. But yeah, I don't know what I trust with our weather predictions temperature wise. Yeah. All right. Desiree says playing some, I don't know what that is. MCRN? No idea what that is. Erica says, I tried to put the goats. Oh yeah, how did it go? I tried to put the goats out to browse this afternoon. They gave me a look questioning my sanity and refused to leave the shed. How'd baby do? I want to know how baby did. Oh, Minecraft. I am so not into that. I'm not into any of the video game things. People are though. Lots of people are. Verna says, watch Ryan Hall, y'all. Yeah, I watch a local, well, it's not local, but a guy here. But the temperature, like he gives the general what's happening, but like, hey, it's gonna be, a low of this tonight here. Like he doesn't have that quite set out. And here it seems to be different than the town that I am adjacent to, like right here. Like here is different than here. So even projections from there doesn't seem to be the same. But yeah. Max velocity. Okay. Erica says baby is fine. Good. Jacob says hello all. Hello Jacob. And Jacob's also a member. And did you cook with us not live? You were just hanging out with us. Did you make it not live? Yeah. What? Who is too much of a fearmonger, Verna? Oh, Max Velocity is a weather person? I thought it was a game that she was saying. I don't even know that as a I'm not familiar with that person. Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I guess I'm the only one not in cold, but yeah, we are warming up, but it's not like warm. Okay, it was Max. Okay, and Buster says Verna Ryan gets it closer than our local weather. Okay. Jacob says I did not cook any of it, but you did make me crave cornbread, so I had to get some cornmeal. Yep. All right. fun. Cornbread turned out wonderful. Yeah. And for those Katrina's kits on here and also listening, that's what you are. You're a member of the channel. You're Katrina's kit. That was named by Steve, who's not here. Where's Steve? What I'm doing is, so I have a Facebook group for members that I've been putting. So I put the announcement, here's what we're making, and then what I did afterwards is in the comments of that I put the recipes. So that it should be easy to find that way. And I just took pictures. I didn't write things out. I just here is a recipe. And so that's where you can find the recipes. So what we do is we cook together and live, and then it was requested that we share the recipes somewhere instead of just going through it. You guys get your ingredients, and then we do the rest. We make the whatever we're making, and then but people wanted the recipes separate, so that's how I'm doing it, because I really do want us to go through it all together that first time. All right. Jacob says currently have some quail hatching out. Currently twice. Must be lots of quail. How are they doing? How are they hatching? Hopefully they're doing good. Erica. Erica says we're almost out of cornbread already. Oh my goodness. Oh, I understand it. You know what I did? I wrote out what I'm eating this week because because it's just me. I don't cook like a big meal every day, but I have I kind of made up an enchilada casserole. I didn't use tortillas. I just, mixed it all together, put it in a pan. So I have some of that, and I have all the stuff we made this weekend. And so I've organized what I'm eating when, so that I can have cornbread through the week. Buster says, as Verna would say, good luck and happy hatching. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Verna's away from her keyboard, so you're fine to step in and say that, Buster. Yeah, hopefully they're good. Hopefully they're good. Well, I'm going to talk about the topic of the day, which I knew we were going to talk about cold. That could be the topic of the day, but that's too easy, guys. So I want to, let's read Jacob's thing first. Oh, Erica's thing first. Erica says, I'm not doing much cooking because I'm trying to save propane for the furnace. Yep, that makes sense. And Jacob says, so far I can hear quite a few. I won't open my incubator until tomorrow morning to pull out chicks. I can't see them in the incubator. Oh, what's the point? It's so great to see them hatching. No, I get it. You have a bigger incubator. Awesome. So, topic of the day that I was going to start with after we did our little check-in. Topic of the day is to listen to your animals. And listening to your animals can mean a lot of different things. I had to listen to Miss Mama Rigatoni the other evening. She had eaten all the hay out of her nest box, and all the babies were in this fluff / hay mixture, that thick on the bottom, not enough. That's what I thought. So I gave her some hay. I kind of shoved it in there. Her babies were in the front too, so I figured, well, they'll maybe move once the hay warms up and stuff, their bodies and stuff. And then I was out at a friend's, and I came back super late. Excuse me. And then I decided, you know what, I should probably go check on them, see how they're doing, all that. And she hadn't done anything with the hay. Her babies were still in the front of the nest box. The front of the nest box is not the warmest. The warmest place is in the back, but that's where the top part is. And welcome back, Verna. And it is they were just in the front of the nest box. So I actually was like, I'm going to move them to the back. I'm going to kind of shove them underneath this hay and like put them, so they're a little warmer. That was the night it got down to 21 degrees. And I was picking one of them up to do that. And my ladies always let me handle the babies. There's no, they're fine with it. They're, they know me. I'm not going to hurt them, all that. But what happened is when I went and picked up a baby, she came over and she bit me. She didn't bite me hard, but she bit me enough for me to, go like that. And it was just like right here. And it was more of a nip than a bite. She was telling me, she was saying, leave my babies alone. They're okay. Don't move them. And I looked at her, and she's never done that to me. And the only other time that has happened is one of my old breeders, ZD, and she had babies come in. I was beginning then, and I didn't really understand that her milk wasn't in, because sometimes their milk doesn't come in. So that's why I'm pretty fastidious about, I said that word weird, about checking their bellies. That's why I take them out a couple times, within the first day, like in the first day, and then the next morning I'll take them out and check their bellies, make sure they're getting food. Because if they're not, you have a very small window to get food in them. And that's also why I keep goat's milk powder, because that is a substitute for rabbit's milk. So in ZD's case, she had lost a bunch of babies, and I didn't know why. I was like, what just happened? She's had good litters before. What's going on? She wasn't a first-time mom. It just happened. Her milk didn't come in. That's the only thing I can think of. And she lost all of them but 2. And I was going through them, and I took the dead ones out, and then I like, there's 2 that were alive in there, and they squeaked. They were getting cold, because they were up against the bodies of the other ones. But I heard them squeak, and they were still alive. And as soon as she heard that squeak, she came in, she hopped right in, and she took my hand and she like threw it. She's like, get out of here. I need to tend to my babies. And so I thought she had it under control. I didn't realize that she didn't have milk coming in. I mean, she must have been so panicked as a mom, going, why are my kids dying? Right? Like, why are my kids, she can't feed them. She's trying to feed them. They're not, able to eat. And that was something that I had no experience with, and they did end up passing. So, so I do have the goat's milk now for the just in case. But that was the only other time that any of my rabbits has ever, bit me. And both of those bites were communicative bites. They weren't, oh my gosh, get out of here bites. They were, let me do my job. Get out so I can do my job. And I paid attention both times. One, I was just starting out, didn't understand what was happening exactly, that her milk was dried up or hadn't come in. And then the other time, which was this last weekend, it was because mom had it handled. She's like, my babies are warm, leave them alone. It's cold out, so they're fine. So that's kind of just my reminder to listen to your animals. And they do know more than you sometimes. They know how to survive. They know all these things. You might not think they do. Some individuals might not, but they do know that. So, yeah. Anyway, so that is what I wanted to express and get across. And hopefully you guys can share stories, if you have them, of listening to your animals, and maybe, there may be some stories you guys can share that say, this is what happened because I listened, or, oh, that's what they were saying, I didn't listen and this happened. They can warn you about a lot of things. I know the rabbits in particular, the chickens don't care, but the rabbits in particular, they will let you know if something is around. So I remember sitting at my old property, in the racking house. So the chickens were on the down below, and the rabbits were in the hutches. That was, I don't remember who that was then. I don't remember if it was tortellini and meatball, or if it was, yeah, it must have been tortellini and meatball then. But I was in there and I was, just spending time with them, and a huge mama possum in the daytime walked over to the pond. She had babies. We'd see them at night. She walked over to the pond to get a drink, and the chickens didn't care. They're just blub, 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 blub. But the rabbits, they both, perked up and they're looking around. And what's interesting about that is they don't make a sound when that happens. If a chicken sees something, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, look what's over there. Something's over there. They didn't see it. So they didn't say anything. But with a rabbit, it is a stand at attention. What's that over there? I'm going to pay attention to it. Where is it going? And so you're not going to get a verbal cue, an audible cue, unless they stomp, which means they're angry. But you're likely not going to get an audible cue. But if you're with your animals, you'll see it. So like, my rabbits don't react to like Ringo and Mama Kitty, the cats. They don't react to them because they're part of the scenario. They're like, oh, we know who you are. Okay. But there was a dog that came over recently with this person on purpose on a leash, and they weren't too reactive because they know, they've seen people with dogs, from California though, so not for a while. It's been over a year. But they grew up with, if I would dog sit for someone or a neighbor came over with a dog, they would see dogs. And all of them except for Ravioli were pretty comfortable with it there, but they all they just kind of sit up a little bit more. Ravioli didn't want to have anything to do with it. But they do let you know what's going on. Even when I go into the pasture, and I go to the rabbit tractors, if they're all staring in one direction and like this, they're like, set up with their ears like up, then something's going on, or something's there that's not usually there, or that they need to pay attention to. So doing that, paying attention to them, is a really good thing. So yeah, I said so way too many times. Jacob makes his own custom trays for hatching. Awesome. Yes, Verna says always listen. I agree. Erica says I've learned too. Always pay attention when Sheila, that's her dog, barks. I hope it's a dog. It is. She has alerted us to snakes and gators. Gators is not something I have to worry about here yet. Global climate change has not happened that far yet. Yeah, and does she have a different bark for an alligator? I'm just curious. Or is it just another thing in her property? Buster says baby quail chicks will let you know if they are cold by gathering under the light. Absolutely. Yeah, so birds will gather under the light, and or under the heat lamp or under the heat plate. They'll gather there, and they'll either gather if they're cold, or they'll go away from it if they're hot. So I use heat plates, so I haven't really experienced that, but I've seen it happen with other people's situations. Heat plates are much safer for like fires, lack of fires. It's much safer for that, but it also has to have ambient temperature of 55 degrees, I think, Fahrenheit, for them to work. So if that's something that doesn't work for you, having a heat lamp might be better. But try and get the safer ones, and always have not just your clamp, have something else wrapped around it or something. Um, just be safe with it. But yeah, you're right. Their positioning will let you know, and they will let you know when they're peeping. Um, Now I'm planning on brooding outside the house when I do start doing that. There's a shed right by the house that I can take a extension cord over to, and I'm planning on brooding and seed starting in there. And so when I have that set up, I will be able to um, kind of heat that space if I need to with a plug-in, you know, it's an extension cord. Um, but if I when I do that, I won't hear them at night, but I can still go in and check a couple times. In my experience, for larger brooders, you put a couple um, brooding plates in there, heat plates in there, and they have to touch the back. So like it doesn't radiate. They have to be able to touch it like it's their mom. So you put it lower than you think you need to, and at night sometimes something will start on one and they'll all go running, and then not all of them find their way back to the heat. And if they don't find their way back to the heat, then they don't make it through the night. So the first couple nights they need a little encouragement to do that. Anyway, Jacob says, oh, wait. Verna says, or they will form a pile and the bottom ones always get squashed. Yes, you don't want that situation. Jacob says, I have converted over to completely brooder plates, and my building has been under 55 multiple times. Just have to have enough room under the heat plates for all the birds. Awesome. What does below 55 mean? Because the information from that, I don't even remember which brand it is. Only one of the brands said an ambient temperature on it, but that's just what I go with now. How cold has it been? Because there's different brands of things. Um, I'm just curious. Um, yeah. I don't I have used 3 different kinds, I think. I think I did a review. Did I ever make a video on that, guys? I don't remember if I made a video on that. Let me see real quick. Um, Maybe heat plate. Um, but let's see, heat plate. Heat plate. Brooder. Brood. Show all. I don't know if I actually made one or not. I did it. I may not have made it into a video. Did I not do it? Okay. I did it and I don't remember why I named it, or I didn't do it. But basically, I have a Tractor Supply one, which I don't remember the brand name of that. It's whatever the Tractor Supply brand is. And those are not made for quail. They work wonderfully for chickens, but they're not made for quail. If you use them for quail, what you need to do is turn the legs upside down and use that first notch, and that's going to be a stretch for them. So you're going to want to put something under it to let them kind of go up a little bit. And I highly recommend with those that you tilt it, so you have one edge shorter and the other edge a little bit higher. But yeah, and you're gonna have to find, because the notches are that big on the Tractor Supply one. But yeah, turn the legs upside down, put it on that first notch, and maybe put something under there so they can go up against it. Quail are tiny. And then but then when you raise it, you're going to have to put it on something until it gets to the point of the next notch. For chickens, it works fine. And the the plate itself works fine. So I think if someone made a brooder plate, made brooder plate legs that fit into the Tractor Supply one, then that are made for quail, that would be awesome because that's what's needed. Um, that's like the most readily available one. I feel that's the most readily available one. But the legs are the wrong. The increments in the legs is the wrong size for quail. And then I did a Brincia, and that worked pretty well. That one took a longer to warm up. I like the legs because you just twist it and it raises, or you twist it and it lowers. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so it was something. What was it about that one? Like it worked fine. The top of that one didn't get warm. The rural, help me with this, Verna. It's the same one that you used, I think. Rural or chick rural. What's the name of that one? Anyway, that one has these little clips and you just move the legs, and that one's also very simple. But that one got hot on top, not hot, but it was warm on top, which isn't an issue. It's just, what do you want to do? Do you want it to be more energy efficient? Labrincia, she doesn't remember. Or do you want it to be, it depends what you want to get out of it. All three of them worked. Tractor Supply was really the only one I had issues with because of the legs. If anybody knows if anybody is like 3D printing quail legs for that brooder, let us know and put it in our Facebook group. So our Facebook group is Friends of Sow and Tare. Yeah, if anybody's 3D printing or anybody has a 3D printer, that's worthwhile and that will sell. I don't know if it'll make millions, but it will sell. Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure there's other species that, could use that. I mean, I don't know what people do for, species that the legs aren't tall enough for either. Um, you know, like a peacock. I don't know. Maybe you can just shove itself under there. But yeah, that's something to be interesting. All right. Jacob says lowest I've noticed so far is 45. Okay. And what kind do you use? Because that's the question. So that's the difference between like is it rural chick or rural? I don't know why I'm saying rural. Whatever that one was. Yellow legs, gray body of it, or gray or black, and that one was warm on top, so that's going to have more of a radiant heat up. Thank you, Verna. Whereas like Brincia didn't have any on top. Yeah. So, Verna, if I posted it, it wouldn't have gotten lost. No, it was something. I think I had attitude when I recorded it, because I think it was the Brincia that had just quit on me. Like I think I was gonna like work through it and do like parts over time. I think I had an attitude when I filmed it, and I didn't because I had an attitude. I think that's what happened, honestly. But yeah, sometimes I film stuff and I'm like, that should not be seen by people. Let's say this in a nicer way. Um, all right. Verna says you need the ones where the legs have the threads on them like screws. Yeah, Brincia has that. So Brincia has the one that you go like this, and then the rural whatever. I have a bunch of them. That has one that has a clip that you move the clip and then you go to the next like segment. So either one of those is fine, I think. All right. Hot enough that the chicks like to get on top instead of under it. Exactly. That one is the one. Yeah, I think that's the one that you had too, isn't it? Anyway, Jacob says the one from Tractor Supply is producers. That's it. I have some 10 by 10 off Amazon that have like a push button to adjust height, and they work great so far. Awesome. Verna is on a mission now. Sorry, Verna. Or you're welcome. Jacob says the ones I have also have a cone on top. I've seen these. Okay. To prevent chicks from pooping on top. The Brintia comes with a plastic cover that you can like wipe off. The rural whatever doesn't. I think I know which ones you're talking about. So those work well for you. And they screw up? Not that they're a screw up, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's good to know that you can go a little colder. I don't know when I will be hatching. I mean, I know chronologically with what I have to do before I can do that, but I don't have like a date of when that's happening. It's not happening then. It's not happening right now. All right, probably next year. Well, chickens probably before then, and then quail probably after that. Rural 365 brooder plate. Dip, dip, dip. Rural 365 brooder plate. Yes. It's this one right here. It is. Has a picture of a chicken on the top. Okay, well, Chewy is calling this my favorite chicken chick brooder heating plate. That's not the name of it that I have, but yeah, Rural 365 should get you there. Backyard chickens. What? Well, apparently you can't just type that in the internet and have it come up. Okay, I'm just trying to find yeah. I don't even remember where I got it from. I got a bunch of them though. Yeah, Rural 365 chick heating plate, brooder plate. Looks like they do have a cone that you can go on top of that too. But anyway, there's my little side quest there. Okay, pretty good so far. You have 8 of them now. Is it the Rural 365 that you have, or do you have another one? I'm like, what do you have? A push button to adjust the height. Man. Yeah, no, it's a good thing to have. And when I'm ready, I have what I need to do all these things again. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Trusting you on this link here. Okay. So we will bring this up because he made the special thing to get it here. Okay. So this is the one. No, not that one. This is the one Jacob is using. And you guys can see that, right? So yeah, the one that Verna and I are talking about, it might be made by the same people because the legs look the same. They're different color, but the legs look the same. Yeah. It doesn't hurt them to sit on top, but oh, it's something that you put on. It doesn't hurt them to sit on top, but it just makes it messy, and they have poo. So like all of these pictures are way too high. Like whoever did this did not know anything about raising animals. It should be like, it should be, apparently we can't do that. It should be like that high. I don't know if you guys can see my little hour, or anyway. It should be much lower. Yeah, like that's set too high for the chicks. Chicken chicks are a little bit more robust, but yeah, even so. Okay, back to you guys. Thank you for sharing that, Jacob. I wonder if you can get those cones separate. Probably, huh? You could probably make one. Yeah. Yeah, so that is good. Not sure what else other people might use. Reptile lamps. You can use reptile lamps. I did one time sell some really young chicks, and I warned her, but they all survived. She was going from this is when I was living in Gilroy, California, and she was coming from like Fresno or something, like across the valley, across the the Central Valley there, and driving. And she went and got some from me. And then I said, you can kind of take it on the way back, but she didn't. But she got some, her and her kids picked out some quail, and they all had names, and brought them to her mom's. They had some event that they were doing, and then they got them all the way home. And she said they stopped at they stopped every couple hours at a gas station to fill up the water bottle. She brought like one of those soft hot water bottles, like you would put in a bed or something, and she would stop and fill it up with hot water at gas stations, like dump it out and fill it up, and got them all the way through that whole time, and grew them up, and they were doing fine. So that does work. I don't know that I would recommend that as a recommendation, but it does work. In a power outage once, I did boil water and if you don't know how to start your stove, if you have a gas stove, if you don't know how to light your stove in a power outage, I do have a video on that. It's basically turn on the gas, and you light a match, turn on the gas, put the match there, and it'll go poof, and then it's lit. Because all you need for a gas stove for electricity is the lighter, the igniter, and all it does is make a spark. So you can do that on your own. Just don't turn on the gas and leave it on. That would be bad. So anyway, I boiled water, put it in a milk jug, wrapped the milk jug in a towel, put the towel into a cooler, put all my like 1 or 2 day old babies into the cooler on I did the anti-slip mat, and then put them into the cooler. This was an overnight thing, so I didn't even give them. I may have given them water. I don't remember. I don't think I did. I don't remember what I gave them, but close the lid, shove something in there so there's a little bit of space that's open so they didn't, asphyxiate. And the yeah, they did fine overnight. They were nice and toasty, just with that gallon of boiled water, and they did fine. So it was only 8-hour outage, so it works. Hand warmers work too. I haven't used hand warmers with chicks. I have used them with in an incubator, but yeah, those absolutely work. Yeah, an inch. So she's talking about the height of the brood, or the height of the brooding plates when quail chicks are babies. It's an inch, and on the rural 365, I think it was that first notch. Yeah, it's smaller than you think, but they get under there and they're warm. Vern says, don't use your oven if the electric is out. There you go. There you go. Yeah, don't use it as a heating source either, because that will make your carbon monoxide potential higher. Yeah. Well, we went off on a tangent. Thank you, guys. So, is everybody cold now? I know PJ's not on here, but she's probably tired from all the shoveling she's been doing. She was shoveling snow this weekend. I know that. Does anybody know where the most snow or where the most cold was or is? So I saw all sorts of projections and then I didn't pay attention to it. I'm like, I know you guys will tell me what's going on. And we don't have that storm here. I'm glad we don't have that storm here, but don't go anywhere if you don't have to. Because, man, I'm sure the roads are pretty dangerous, like Erica was saying, ice on the roads. Yeah. Yeah. So does anybody have any other stories about their animals warning them of things or paying attention to what they're doing? Erica said paying attention to the dog and her alerts of gators in the yard. But what else might people be doing? Yeah. We're getting quiet in the chat, guys. What happened? Do you guys see me and hear me? I'm wondering if I'm not getting things through here. All right. So tomorrow's video is going to be about canning soup. I didn't actually make the soup on camera. I just did it. But it is a good guide. There's going to be a part 2 of that. I'm going to wait for the next week. So I don't feel like I need to do too many cooking things in one sitting. But that one will be for the potage bonvolé. And we've made that on Katrina's kits before. With the membership, and it is a super yummy soup. It does have cream in it, but we're not canning the the whipping cream. We're canning it before it gets to that point. So if you are wanting to can things, we don't put dairy in canned goods, and so I show you there how to can a soup that does have dairy without dairy. You basically add it later when you heat it up. And if you have a what's it called? If you have a freeze dryer, you can freeze dry, or you can buy powdered milk too. But you can freeze dry whipping cream, and you can freeze dry, your dairy products, and just add it to the soup then too. So like if you were giving it as a gift or something, or wanting to send someone home with it, you just give them, a baggie of whatever the added things are to throw in there. And so the thing is, you have to remember, you have to divide by what it's supposed to go in the recipe, divide by the number of jars you ended up with, and then you know how much to put in. So yeah. Excuse me. I do not see anybody typing, so I'm wondering if I just can't see you guys. Someone say something to see if oh, there we go. All right, a bunch of stuff just came in, so that was really weird. Okay, I see you guys now, but it literally just, everything came in. All right, Verna says, nope, just have to worry about how cold it gets here. Yep. And Verna says, today was the first time that I have seen the city shovel the road and have to haul away the snow in a dump truck. I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Erica says Sheila brought me an injured sparrow earlier today. Did she injure the sparrow and then bring it to you as a look what I did treat, or was she concerned and brought it to you? And Verna says, "I see you." Okay. She assumed it was a chick. Oh, how funny! How funny! That is really funny. Yeah, if she's familiar with you having birds, that makes total sense. And she's like, "Don't hurt the birds. Bring the birds to mom." Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for sure. For sure. Yeah, they talk in their own way. Um, one time when I was living with my grandma, her dog Brooke, she was such a character, but she was so funny, and she was always like very hyper about what's going on. She's a whiner rhymer, and she would go out and just find stuff all the time. But one time, somehow these four baby juncos got knocked out of a tree, and she didn't show me on purpose, but I saw. She's like, "Oh, what's this? What's this?" And she had stepped on two of them. They were gone. But the other two were still, still alive, hopping around, and mom and dad were yelling at me. They're like coming and dive bombing me and all that. And it was really interesting because Brooke just, Brooke is the dog. She just wanted to see what was going on and probably eat them. But I ended up having to go to the neighbors so my grandma didn't have a ladder. So I have these two little baby birds in my hand, cupped to my tummy, as I walk down to the neighbors and then carry back a ladder so I could get up to the tree and put them back in. And mom and dad fed them; they were fine. But don't know how they all fell out of the nest. I'm wondering if they all got pushed or what. They were not ready to fly. They weren't at that point yet. Yeah. We put a bird back in the nest at my neighbor's at my old place too. A mockingbird. I've done that a couple times. Yeah. Erica says she's never injured a bird. She carries them gently. Good. Good, good. These are good things. Um, yeah, there's lots of things you can train a dog, and sometimes, what you want to train them isn't what they want to be trained. But I think for the most part, you can train them pretty good. So yeah, she knows you raise birds, and those are mama's birds, and don't touch them if they're injured. Tell her about them. That's what she's doing. That's exactly what she's doing. Yeah. Yeah. Abella's here. And she says, I am dealing with frozen water galore in northern Illinois. Um, you like pipes freezing? What all is freezing? Um, hoping for rabbit kits in 33QS. Anybody know what that means? I don't know what QS means. Um, but yeah, hopefully they do well. As long as Mama Rabbit has good nest built, they should do okay with temps. Um, I don't know what temperature is where you are, but I think you're on the edge of. You're still cold, but on the edge of where it's super super cold, right? I don't have experience with rabbits in super super cold. I know that people sometimes will wrap their hutches um, in plastic or in tarps or something like that. I don't remember if you said yours was in a shed. For some reason, I think they are. I don't remember. But it's something that you can do. Just don't do it completely because the moisture that it brings in, if you do that, the moisture um, condensation kills is what I want to say. So if you block moisture in instead of letting it dissipate and breathe and be, flowy, that is what the killer is. Not necessarily the cold. It's the condensation and the wind that brings that chilling cold that Verna's experiencing right now. Stay warm, Verna. Yeah. Um, 3 to 3.5 weeks, and hoping it's not super cold then. Yeah. So you just bred. Yeah. Hopefully it lifts. I know some people on here were talking about it lifting soon, the next couple days, up to 22 and 45 in different places. So, yeah. Abella says, considering making a rabbit nest box using plastic storage tote because I have seen many people use those successfully. The only thing I would think is if they chew on it, that might not be too good. But I don't have an opinion other than that. I don't think I do. Plastic storage tote. Oh, are you talking about the one that has the whole, like a milk crate? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know what a plastic storage tote is. Because I've seen people use milk crates and then line it with cardboard and then put the hay in. I've seen that. Yeah. Okay, Rabbitry Center uses them. Is that what I'm talking about? Is it milk crates or is it something else? Yeah, Rabbitry Center knows what they're talking about. So if you're doing something they're doing, I think that's okay. They've been doing rabbits for a long time. I haven't seen anything of theirs in a while. I should peruse. Yeah. Um yeah, whatever you make sure that you know you have enough hay and it's lined and all that. If you do need to line it with cardboard, if there's holes in the side and stuff, maybe give it a double layer for this winter. But yeah. Now I like the ones that have the top, like there's a top over part of it, and because that's where mom can go and sit, and my ladies like that. Um, and it doesn't take the babies long to catch up to be able to go and sit with her and say kick her off. But yeah, they I like that, and then the other thing I like about mine is I like that there's I'm going to call it like a kit guard. I don't know what it's called, but there's a strip about that wide that's angled so that if mom is done nursing, when mom's done nursing, she leaves. She's like, okay, guys, bye. And then all the babies are like, what just happened? Why? What? Oh, I guess I can clean off my face now. Like they are so confused every time. And so when she leaves, there is a potential that a kit could still be holding on to one of her faucets, and that is supposed to like bump them off. So I don't know if that works or not. I just know that's the thought process behind it. But I do know it somewhat prevents them from getting out of the nest when they're not quite ready to get back in. So that's something to think about. Okay, Verna says, no, it is a tote that has a special way that the mama can go. Oh, those totes. I was thinking tote. You're talking about tote. I know exactly what you're talking about. I would love to do that kind of setup. I probably won't because I kind of have something that works for me. But I think that would be a great setup. I totally understand what you're talking about now. So for those that don't understand, Rabbitry Center they have like a line of hutches, similar to what I have, but like more females next to each other, like a line all together. And then they have like a tunnel, and I don't remember what it's made of. I think I've seen them use the corrugated plastic stuff, but then I think I also saw like a ramp with an open mesh. I don't remember what he's using now. Anyway, basically a tunnel that goes from the back side of that down and into literally a plastic tote, like one of those. Thank you for the link, Britta. Down into like one of those. I don't know what color, but you know those black totes with the yellow on top you get like Home Depot or Costco? Like that is what it is. I don't know what brand he uses. And then that's where it's set up for the nest box. And it's easy to check because it, go like that. And the babies can't really get out until they're ready to get out. So I know what you're talking about now. Okay, now that I'm on the same page. Okay, Abella says rabbits are currently in the garage. I remembered where it stays 10 to 20 degrees warmer than outdoors without wind. But how cold is it? Okay, that link shows you how to build it. Why? The thing is, I don't know if I need to pay attention to these things coming in. Oh, I don't need to pay attention to that. I'm going to turn the sound off. Okay. So I am going to here, and then I'm going to here. I'm just looking at this so I can grab that link because I didn't have it open on YouTube. Because when you're in StreamYard, you can't grab links out of comments, which is weird. So, okay, how to build a kindling tote. Okay, awesome. So yeah, that's an 8-minute video. I recommend if you're raising rabbits and thinking about doing it with more space. Or actually, if you're in a colder area, it makes sense too. Go ahead and watch that link that Verna sent. Yeah, good call, Verna. I totally just, thought tote because I've seen people do it with like milk crates, and that's obviously not a tote. Anyway, so what was the question? Okay, Abella said something up here. Considering making a rabbit nest box using a plastic storage tote because I have seen many people use those successfully. Good. If Rabbitry Center is using them, which they have used them for many, many years, approved. Watch that video that that Verna put up, and I recommend you just follow what he did and do that. Let's see, that was 7 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, he has some good information on his channel. Okay. Thank you for getting me on the right track, Verna. Yeah. Bella says, I've also seen smaller Rubbermaid type totes that have a hole in the side, sort of looking like an enclosed cat litter box with drainage holes in the bottom. Does that sit down like his, or does it sit in the hutch? Because there's lots of different ways to do it, and I think the information that should be followed is, can you get into it because you want to be able to get into it? Can mama go in and out? Does it prevent the babies from leaving, babies or kits, from leaving the nest box before they can get back into it? In my experience, they kind of know where to go. They just can't reach. So that's why you'll see in my hutches, I have like a long brick. And that's because by the time they can get out of there, they can get up that brick and then get up another part. And the first one out that I see is probably not the first one out. But the first one out that I see, I always put it on there and I make sure it knows how to go up. And yes, it's like playing with dolls. If I set it there and they don't go up, I kind of push it on the button, like, no, I don't want to move. I'm like, fine, we go here, and then you go here, and then you go there. Now you do it. Now you do it. Now you do it. Anyway, that's just me and how I do it. And some people, as soon as they open their eyes is when they're going to be leaving the nest potentially, or when they're going to be like, oh, there's stuff outside of this. What? This is a bigger world than I thought. And actually, mine are almost there right now. I think I don't remember how old they are. I think they're right at 10, right around 10 days right now. I think. And that would be raviolis and rigatonis. Are they 10 days? More than that? I don't think I saw eyes this today, but I didn't really look for it. But they open their eyes at between 10 and 14 days. And that's the age that we need to be looking at. If they get out, can they get back in? And some people do that by doing, like you said, a tote that they can't get out unless they jump up a certain height. Or some people, I put a brick there so that they can get back in. Some people at that point turn the nest box on its side. It's easier to find, but I kind of ruins the whole nest area. They can redo it. So I don't know anybody personally. I don't think I know anybody personally that does that, but let me know if you do it. And then also the other one that I've seen that I don't know how exactly it works when they don't have babies is the drop down. So the nest box is actually below the floor of the hutch. They just jump down into it. So there's no issue about them getting back in because they just go down. So yeah, so it's an interesting way of doing things. I'm just not sure what that looks like when they don't have young. If that's taken away and trapdoor comes up, I don't know. So yeah. Yes, I've seen the hide curing videos. There's so many different ways to do it. Yeah. Bowtie's here. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, so you came over from Urban Gardener. Urban Gardener had a show today. They start at 5 Pacific time and go till about 7. So he's waving, I'm waving. So we're overlapping by an hour, and that's the show that I will be on once a month. I'll let you guys know before I'm on. I think the 16th is when I'm on. I think that's my first one. Still going? Okay. Just saying hey. Well, hey. My goodness, their guest must have been late. I know he was running late. Anyway. All right, Verna, say hi to Lucy on her walk and have a good night. Don't freeze out there. Get inside, get warmed up, tape towels over your door, all that. Yeah, thanks for coming. An hour late. Oh my gosh, Bowtie. That's really late. That's really late. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Verna's heading out. It's super cold at her place, and Lucy needs to go pee. Lucy is a dog. Yeah. So we talked quail chicks, we talked bunnies, we talked listening to your animals. The video for Thursday is going to be a little bit about the pasture and kind of just a check-in there. And I was out there and decided to do videos. It wasn't planned, it was just doing that. Sometimes my videos are like that. But it was a check-in. And then yeah, things are going good here. Maple and walnut syrup is still flowing. I really, really, really hope we don't warm up like it's supposed to at night, because I really, really, really want more sap. Yeah, but I'm putting it into the freezer now. I have 2 pots, one for the walnut and one for the maple, and I'm doing that. And I'm going to pay attention the next couple days, I think, and see if the weather is actually going to turn. And if it is, then I will. If it is going to turn, I won't tap anymore. If it's not going to turn, I might tap more because I did get more taps. It took a little bit to get here. All right. Bowtie says, just want to show my avatar. It'll be 27 here tonight. First real freeze in Destin, Florida. Oh my gosh. 27 in Florida. My goodness. Erica says, gotta go. Time to get everyone settled. And Bowtie says, be safe all. Had a blessed day. Thank you. And have a good night, Erica. Yeah. Um, yeah. So yeah, the maple syrup and the walnut syrup, definitely more walnut than maple. I think probably because of location and sun on the trunk. Now my other maples that I want to tap are uphill, so it's going to be colder. So I think it might work okay, but I still going to wait a couple days and see what the lows actually are. If they go up into the 40s, like the Weather Channel is saying, or not. Yeah. Um, but yeah, they are higher up the hill, but not by, I mean, by a little bit. Anyway, I have to see about that. And I don't even know how many of the maples are big enough to tap. So tapping maples, they should be 10 inches in diameter minimum. And yeah, so it should go well if the temperatures stay down in the nighttime. But if they don't, it's fine. This is my first year doing it. I don't have everything set up yet. I did discover that, uh, and I don't remember if I've told you guys this yet or not, but I did discover. So I was planning on using my old water heater as a evaporator, just because it's a big thing that's okay with water in it. Um, but I called the water heater company and got the serial number and all that, and it is glass lined. And glass lined in a water heater means, hold on, Ringo's yowling. Let me be back. Hold on, guys. Ringo, what's going on, dude? Hey, Ringo. Ringo. Well, I don't know where he is, but he stopped yowling. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I don't know where he is, but he stopped yowling. I have my bear spray and my flashlight that apparently I need to change a battery in. Last time he was yowling like that, it was because there was another cat in the area. That Mama Kitty had no problem going after. I don't think it was the same cat that beat him up, but it could have been. Um, anyway, so sorry about the pause. And that happened a couple weeks ago. Anyway, let's hope he's okay. Didn't see him out there. All right. I don't know if anybody has been commenting. I did have this happen earlier in the night where comments were not going through. And I got them in like a block. So I don't know if that's going to happen again or not. If you guys are just being patient with me while I went out and to try and rescue Mr. Ringo. But he is no longer yelling, so hopefully that's a good thing. um, Yeah, always an adventure here. Last time I heard him yowling, it might have been about this time actually. It was nighttime. I don't remember what time it was, but it was nighttime and I was in the kitchen and he started Jacob's eating dinner. Awesome. He started yowling and he was sitting on top of the Jeep in there and I don't know. I went out there and I kind of didn't see much and then I looked on the cameras and there was a cat. There was a cat with a white back foot and a white, I think somewhere marking somewhere over here. So yeah. Yeah. Well, Jacob, what are you having? You having quail? Yeah. Anyway, hopefully whatever it was out there, I scared it away. House isn't that insulated that I can't hear a yowling kitty. And I know his voice, his yowling voice. Anyway, this is my spearmint tea that I forgot I had. I did cold water in the refrigerator and put a tea thingy in there. And this is spearmint from my old place, so homegrown. It's like a lightly flavored water. I've been doing more of that. I know I need to make more of my tea that I've been doing, which is the ginger and the turmeric, black pepper, ginger, turmeric, black pepper, cinnamon stick, and cloves. So kind of add boiling water to all of that, let it boil a little bit, and then once that's good, I put cloves in, turn off the heat, put the lid on. I I don't even know where I got this information from, so it might not be true. Someone can tell me, but I got some information somehow that when you make the clove water or clove tea, um, to put the lid on it because the good stuff is in the steam and it needs to go back in the water. I don't know. This is something that I don't know if that's true or not, but it's easy enough to do. It's easy enough to do even if it's not true. Put the lid on. There you go. Um, yeah. So that's all good stuff. And yeah. Oh, Jacob says no quail. We're having. Oh, we are having braised beef short ribs and fresh bread Ava just made. Awesome. And you did not bring any to share. Yeah. Awesome. 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 Um, yeah. I wonder if a lot of people, because we don't have very many people on here tonight, I wonder if a lot of people are having power outages and just dealing with weather, because that is a lot of stuff affecting a lot of people. Um, yeah, lots of weather things. Um, the problem with what we're having here by not having, well, precipitation mainly, but even with our precipitation, it's mostly been rain. And for here, this location where I live, I don't think it matters at all. But for our state and for our state reservoirs, it absolutely does matter, because even though our reservoirs are full right now, or fullish, um, that doesn't tell us what's going to happen in late summer. So people that are farming depend on snow melt. So the snow melt comes from snow, and what we're seeing is that the snowpack in the Pacific Northwest is something that is, it always fluxes, kind of has a standard of where it is all the time or where it is all the time in the winter, but it fluxes, and it um anytime it rains, it's going to melt snow. If it rains on snow, you're going to get snow melt, and that reduces the amount of water we have later in the year as opposed to right now. So That is something that's very important for farming in general. And it's not just for reservoirs. I mean, that's how streams get water too. I mean, we have groundwater. We have groundwater that comes out of the ground. We have groundwater that's recharged by surface water, which is either rain or melting snow. And then we have runoff of snow melt as well, and rain runoff. So we really do need that water, and that's what's concerning about this year in the Pacific Northwest, is that we don't have the snowpack that is usually there. So I anticipate that it probably is already happening, but like there are other countries which are better at water management in agriculture than we are. There are other countries that have a sensor per plant. Do you need water today? To make it the most efficient way of growing things. Instead of watering the whole field or watering the whole orchard, you water by individual areas or individual plants. And and you can have a microhabitat within a field, within an orchard, within, your plants. And so this becomes really a good thing. They're already kind of doing that a little bit with fertilizer, in my mind, fertilizer should be compost. I don't think you need to fertilize. For the large majority of things, you don't have to fertilize with like chemical stuff. It should be compost. And if you are fertilizing a field, people do soil samples and a gas chromatograph to see what they are, what they need in particular parts of the field. And I mean, right now there's even stuff that you can put that information into that, and then from that you say, oh, well, these are the things that we need here. We don't need it here. We need a different mixture here. And it will actually mix it and put it on the field in the tractor, as that mixture, in like those specific areas. So we already have that in this country. I don't know how much per plant or per row or something like that we have, watering wise in this country. I know that technology exists elsewhere, and has existed for quite some time actually. So a there should be a pretty good knowledge base already that we don't have to invent. And I think that's something that we need to focus on in this country. Other countries have already figured it out. We don't have to start over. We piggyback on with them and say what works, what doesn't work. Okay, let's go. Because water is definitely a hot topic. And even last year when it flooded here, and there was major floods here, there's people that, I mean, FEMA never got to I don't even know that they got into our state. They didn't get to my town. They didn't get to nearby towns. But yeah, FEMA didn't provide those funds, and which we're paying taxes for. But luckily there's local groups that help out with that. And when you have flooding, you say, oh my gosh, we have water for years now. And that's not the case, because all that water ends up going somewhere. Once the ground is saturated, it's saturated. Once the ground is saturated and the aquifers are filled up and they're bubbling out of the earth, as we had here, they're saturated, and they can't really be saturated anymore, because that's what saturated means. So you lose that water locally, and it goes somewhere else. And excuse me. And that is something that we need to keep in mind when we have all these heavy rains. Oh my goodness, guys, sorry. we have all these heavy rains and we have all these storms. I mean, even the storms that Washington saw earlier in the season, most of that water is gone. It's not locally stored, it's in the ocean, you know. Um, so that's something that uh, people need to pay attention to and be aware of for the upcoming planting season. So in my area, we might not have as much water this summer because we didn't get, you know, right here. I know it didn't fill up the land because water didn't come out of the floor, you know. Um, but I mean, it rained some. It's going to rain more, hopefully, but we definitely don't have the storage of water as what we had um, last year. So anyway, that was a little tangent, huh? Anyway, so yeah, if you guys have questions or want to talk about a certain topic, let me know. I know we had a wide range of topics. So I'll go back to that topic that I had as my topic of the day. We already talked about cold, and that was paying attention to your animals and what they are telling you. And so my example again, look like someone just came on. My example again is that the other day when it was really, 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 really cold, and I thought Rigatoni's babies needed to move because they were in the front of the nest box and didn't have hay around them and all that, and they were still warm, but they didn't, look like they're going to move. Uh, and I reached in to move, and she nipped me. Didn't draw blood or anything. It literally was, "Don't move my babies; they're fine." And so I didn't. I didn't move them, and guess what? They were fine. And so that was a really good thing. Um, but listening to your animals is really, really important because they're going to tell you what's going on with them, and they're going to tell you what's going on around them. Like I said before, my rabbits alert to things. They're not going to, bark like a dog or anything. They're not going to make verbal, sounds. They'll stomp if they're angry, but other than that, they're just going to. So if you're in with them, they'll alert you if something's around. They're pretty watchful. They're prey animals. They're pretty watchful. So yeah, Robin, welcome, welcome, welcome. She says hello from Chicagoland. All right, welcome. I hope the rest of the other live was good. Looks like a little bit late, but yeah, we're talking a whole bunch of stuff here. If you have questions or things you want to share, let us know. Um, and also, how is the weather in Chicagoland? And for those who don't know, Chicagoland is like the area around Chicago. It's not a particular city as far as I know. Yes, Bowtie told me that the guest was like an hour late. That kind of sucks. But it's okay. It's okay. When you do things live, things happen. You just missed me running outside to see what Ringo needed, and Ringo's the kitty. Because I heard him growling at something. Um, don't know what it was. Growling stopped when I went out, so yeah, I think he's fine. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I was talking a little bit about water and our needs for water and snowpack, and how the Pacific Northwest relies on snowpack for our summer farming, basically. And I know much of the country, you just get out of the ground, or there's springs and it just comes to you. And we have some of that here too, but a lot of those springs are um, refilled by the snowpack melting. So right now we seem to have not a very good snowpack, and it is melting with every rainstorm. So yeah. Robin says, I'm northwest of Chicago in the burbs. Chilly feels like -10 right now. You can have it. Well, I hope you are nice and warm. We had some people sharing tips for people in cold climates. If you want to share any tips or ask for any tips, let us know. One of the good tips we had is to leave your faucet drippy or slightly running, and to open your cabinets underneath your faucet to warm the pipes. And then also that if you are getting water from a hose somewhere or using outside, just disconnect that, turn it off. It's going to freeze. Bringing buckets of water inside for your animals later if you don't have a frost-free hydrant. Hey, put in a frost-free hydrant. It's worth it. And stuff like that. So yeah, if you want to share any tips for cold and dealing with cold, that's good. Yeah, we also went through dealing with chicks or any baby animal, and that is to you can use hand warmers and do that. We've put those in incubators before. Some people put them in with their chicks before. Those do get pretty hot, so I was kind of hesitate putting in directly with the chicks. You might put that in a sock or something. I don't know. They do get very hot though. And then also, I have boiled water in a power outage. I boiled water, put it in a milk jug, wrap the milk jug in a towel, put it into a cooler, and put my anti-slip mat in there, and put my baby quail that had just hatched in there, and they did the night fine. Close the lid, leave it propped open so they have air, and they did fine. So that is another tip. Um, so um, those are the tips we have. Let us know if you have any tips. Yeah, so tomorrow's video is going to be canning soups. I did not do like a recipe on this one. It's kind of a general thing that I'm feeling it's going to be like a starting to a soup. It just has like rabbits, lentils, garbanzo beans. I think that's what I had in it, and rabbit stock, and then some seasonings. But it shows how to can soups, and then the following week I'll do a recipe that's canning soup. So yeah, that is coming up. So there we go. And again, either you guys aren't talking or the chat has frozen. It's frozen a couple times on me, and then it like comes in a batch. So if you have typed something, I don't see it yet, and it will come. I don't know where I'm using StreamYard. I don't know where that's based, if it's affected by the weather or something. I don't know. Feels like a lot of things are affected by the weather right now. People getting temperatures that they didn't expect to, like bow tie. Bow tie, how are you protecting so bow ties in Florida? How do you protect your crops at these temperatures? Are you spraying them with water? Because that is something you can do for gardening or for plants. Like if you have like citrus plants or something like that, citrus should go down to 27, no problem. But he says, no, we are frozen. No, so if you have like permanent plants, even though they're not permanent, if you spray them with water and let it freeze, like on purpose, then it will have less damage than if it freezes down below. So someone explained this to me once, and I understand it, but I don't actually know how to exactly explain it. But the act of freezing produces heat. So it's expending heat so anytime you do something, you expend energy, and expended energy results in heat. So the act of freezing results in heat, and there's more to the story, and I don't remember what, but there's a reason why spraying down your plants before it freezes, so it's freezing. There's a reason why that works. And in that case, it's better to be frozen than frosted. You're still going to have damage to your plants, but they'll hopefully live. Okay, Bowtie says they had a really good rain just before the cold. I covered a few things with 50% shade cloth because that is just what I had. Sometimes that's what you have, that's what you use. Another thing you can do is Christmas lights, but not the LEDs because those don't put out much heat. The twinkle lights, they work great for 27 degrees. They'll work great. Negatives, I don't know about that, but yeah, I've protected citrus and avocado and dragon fruit with those twinkle lights. So they do work. So if we don't hear from Bowtie, he's outside with twinkle lights running around his garden. Yeah, but they do work. And how they work. Why you're not trying to heat the plants with those? So how does putting Christmas lights on plants save your plants from dying in the winter? One, it's not the heat that it's not that they heat the plant. That's not what is the issue. The issue that you're trying to do, that you're succeeding to do, unless you use LED lights, is heat rises. So even the little heat from those little twinkle lights, the non-LED twinkle lights, that rises. And so if heat rises, then you're moving air. And air movement is also another way to beat the freezing. So you can also put a big fan out in your garden. Probably not when it's raining, but you can put a big fan out in your garden, and that will, reduce the harm to them. I thought I turned off my sound here. So that's another thing you can say, and yeah, that is good. Freezing and fans and twinkle lights. We didn't talk about that earlier in the chat, so that's good to come up. I've used the twinkle lights a lot. They had I think they're called C9 bulbs. I had my parents' old Christmas lights at some point. I did not realize how big the bill was going to be with those, so don't use those. And the thing is, PG&E, my bill was so big that they ignored it and said this must be a problem, and waited another month to give it to me. And it was high then. And I complained to them. And I said I would have not used it this second month if I knew how much it was costing me. And I got that money back. So if your power company does that to you, argue it, because you would have changed your actions. Yeah, I had no clue how much it was going to cost me to run those lights. But twinkle lights, on the other hand, they're going to cost a little bit, but they don't cost that much. Yeah. So yeah, shade cloths will work. I mean, they'll work some. You're not going to prevent things from fully freezing, but you'll prevent them from having so much damage. So again, like frost often does more freezing, more damage than freezing, unless it's freezing for too long. But there's something that happens with frost that it's kind of like more of an instant thing, whereas freezing has a process to it. Anyway, if you guys can explain those topics better than what I just said, go ahead. Go ahead. But yeah. Okay. Looks like I had another data dump from StreamYard, so let me catch up. See, this is the thing. This has been happening tonight. Okay, Robin says, love soup. Made a chicken tonight and had celery, carrots, onion, thyme, parsley for my garden. Awesome. Totally jazzed to have that to add at the end of January. I'll make cashew soup. Cashew? Kusha. Okay, I'm like, what? So kusha, I think that's a squash, right? In a day or two. Awesome. Do you can your soup? Do you have a pressure canner? That's a question I have. And then also, have you grown lovage? Because lovage is the predecessor to celery, pretty much in grocery talk. And it is a stronger flavor, and it's slightly different, but it tastes like really strong celery. Is very tasty, and it is perennial. I don't know if it's perennial everywhere, but it's perennial. So that's a very cool one. And there's some medicinal stuff to it too. I mean, celery does too, but yeah. Okay, Bowtie says mainly it is experimenting because someone said it would work. I am trying it. Someone said it, do it. Okay, you had a ladder holding up a cloth out in front of the house. It blew over with a loud crash at 4 a.m. Went back to sleep. Okay, there you go. Robin says incandescent lights and a trouble. What's a trouble light? I don't know what a trouble light is. And a trouble light in my zipper greenhouses in spring is enough to keep the freeze off. If temp goes really low, I add a tarp or two over top to insulate. Awesome. Bowtie says I've covered angel trumpets, tea plants, lemon trees, seedlings, and sugarcane. We will see what survives. Sugarcane should definitely survive. Angel trumpets should definitely survive. What's a tea plant? Is it the one that's related? That's what is the name of it? Is that like for drinking tea, like the makes black tea, green tea, and white tea, or is it something else? Lemon trees should be fine. Your lemon trees should be fine. It's just going to be how much of a dieback is there. And also right now they're going to be in bloom too, right? So you might not get lemons unless you protected flowers. You might not get lemons during that time. So that was a little bit of a frustration that I had. I had a Meyer lemon tree when I was in California and Zone 9B. And in the winter times, when it did get really cold, the flowers were just like, I'm done. And so it kind of had a gap in lemons, but it was fine. It was fine. Okay. Bowtie says, yeah, we are not getting below 27. I don't think. That's daring Mother Nature. Do not do that. She will win. It will be a couple hours, maybe. Water temps still 62. That will help stabilize temps a lot. Yeah, exactly. You're surrounded by salt water on all sides. Yep, that will help. Maritime air has a little salt in it. All right, Robin says, I have a gorgeous new pressure canner in the box just waiting for me to learn and try. Awesome. Have you looked at my playlist yet? Because I have, here we go. I'm going to look up the link for that, or I'll look up the let's just say intro to canning. There's an intro to canning playlist. I'll put the first one in here. Wait, show all. Okay, I'll put the first one in here. Shareable link. And I know you've water bath before, but there's the first one, and you can kind of go from there. I just didn't tell you what that was. That is intro to canning link. And I go into a pretty thorough description of that. So that I recommend you watch that. What kind of pressure canner did you get? Was it a Presto or American or something else? And did you get a weight gauge or a dial gauge? Important questions. Okay. Where'd you go? Tea plant is Hawaiian, not drinking. Okay. Broadleaf, I have the purple ones, decorative, no blooms on lemons. Okay. Sugar cane is what I just planted a week or so ago. Go dig it up. Did you plant this, or did you plant like a big thing? Because if you just planted this, you just go dig it up. Yeah. Oh yeah, you started the playlist. Good. Hopefully it's super helpful, and I have, if you can ask questions and all that. Yeah. Nesco makes a pressure canner. Nesco. I have a dehydrator of theirs. Is it an electric one? That's a question. Is it an electric one? Um, Bowtie says sugarcane leaves are about 2 feet tall with lots of roots. Okay, yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Okay, electric. I'm going to caution you against using electric pressure canner, and I will plead my case, and other people will say it's perfectly fine. Go ahead, but and I'm going to leave it to you to make the whatever educated guess you want to make, not educated guess, educated decision you want to make. Um, one, just regular pressure canners. So I'm going to say, I know you know this, I'm going to say this for people watching on the replay. A pressure canner and a pressure cooker are different things. A pressure cooker is something like an Instapot. You should not can in those. It's not rated for any of that. A pressure canner has enough pressure and has a designated number of pounds of pressure that you can set that to with a weight. And that is... you have to have a certain weight depending on your elevation. And so if you are sea level to 1,000 feet, you use the 10 pounds of pressure. If you're above 1,000 feet to something, I don't remember what something is, then you use the 15 pounds of pressure. And where I am now, I use a 15 pounds of pressure. So that's something to look up. Make sure you know your elevation, so you know how many pounds of pressure you need to can. And then on a normal, there's two non-electric options. One is a weight gauge pressure canner, and one is a dial gauge pressure canner. I use a weight gauge pressure canner because when you have a weight gauge pressure canner, you do not have to calibrate it. You don't have to have it go check. It doesn't change because that's always going to be that weight, and your elevation is usually going to be at the same elevation. So unless you move, right? But your elevation is not likely to change, and therefore your weight doesn't change. So that nothing on that needs to be checked. If you have a dial gauge pressure canner, you have a pressure canner that relies on the dial. So let me back up. The weight gauge pressure canner, it has a weight on there, and you basically are counting how many jiggles per minute. Depending on your different brand, it'll be different number of jiggles. It needs to be between a certain amount. And when you do that, you are ensuring that you're like, for me, my 15 pounds of pressure is on there. And when it gets above 15 pounds of pressure, it rattles to let out the excess steam. And then it's good. Then when it gets slightly above again, it rattles again. So you're keeping it at that pressure, knowing that you're keeping it at the pressure because you see the steam coming out and it rattles, and you can count how many rattles there are per minute in there. Now it has a range. Okay, so you're at 10. Okay. And with the dial gauge, that depends not on a weight that is consistent all the time. It depends on a dial gauge being accurate. Now, the accuracy of that can change, over time. At any moment, it can go a little bit off and a little bit more off, a little bit more off. The recommendation for a dial gauge pressure canner is to have it checked by your extension office annually. So this is a check-in. You go in there, you say, I need to calibrate this. Can you help me with that? The problem with that is not every extension office has this capability. So you have to find one in your area that has that capability. And that's basically to measure the actual measurement that the dial gauge should be at, and then it gets adjusted to show what the true measurement is. So it does have a calibration that needs to happen every year. Okay, so that's the non-electric pressure pressure canners. For the electric pressure canner, I will never have one. Um, and the reasoning is it's all electric. I don't know what the pressure is. There's no way for me to know what the pressure is, except for I don't even know if it comes up on a screen somewhere. But just think about how many times your computer needs to update, your phone needs to update. I mean, there's even watches that need to update now. So by the time it needs to update, I want to know how it knows this. And because I don't know how it knows it, I take issue with that, right? Um, I don't know that you can calibrate those. When they first came out, they were not calibratable. I don't know if they are now, but if they are, you still have to go in and I would assume go to your extension office and do that. Now, they will say, "Hi, Shawnee." I will say that pressure canners, um, okay, the USDA kind of regulates the food and drugs, right? And so they actually have a really, really good website, which I will get on here, and it's the National Center for Home National Center for Home Food Preservation. And where'd you guys go? I keep losing you. Okay. National Center for Home Food Preservation. And this website is a really, really good website. They do not approve pressure canners. So a lot of places say that this electric pressure canner is approved by the USDA. It's not approved by the USDA. There are what they consider a safe pressure canner or a pressure canner. They have their qualifications, but it's never like, here's a sticker, this one's good. So I personally wouldn't use it, but I want you to know the reason why I personally wouldn't use it. And I want you to have the confidence to be able to find out what the pressure is and to make sure that your pressure is consistent. And even if they say it's accurate, I would still want a way to check it. So just like the dial gauge pressure canners, you check it every year, you get it calibrated every year. Personally, I would want to know how, I would want to have a process to have that. So that's my advice. I've never used one. Pressure canning or the electric, I think the pressure canners, I think there's only one that I've seen, but the pressure canners usually have an option to water bath as well. I don't have an issue with with an electric water bath canner because boiling is boiling and you can see if it's boiling, you can hear if it's boiling. I don't have any issue with that, but it's the pressure. I do have thoughts about that. So anyway, let's see what our conversation has turned into, and hopefully I didn't insult anybody. But I do want you guys to have like a full knowledge base, and check out other channels too, but have a full knowledge base about things that matter, like food storage and food uh, you know putting up food. A channel I would recommend that she does a lot of canning is Sutton's Days. Basically, she does a whole lot more research than I do. But the USDA National Center for Home Food Preservation website, they have tested things on there. There are some things that are not tested and shouldn't, and whether you should or shouldn't do it, you have to figure out for yourself, right? But there are things like pureed pumpkin should not be pressure canned. They've tested it. It doesn't get the heat and pressure it needs to the center of the jar because of the density. There are other things like, dairy that shouldn't be. I mean, there's reasons for these things. The other the other place that tests things that I would personally trust is Ball. Ball has their own testing facilities and testing, like they do real testing as well. And so those are my sources. Now I can fiddle with a recipe within the bounds of those things too. Like I don't just do their recipes, but you should not be trying to can, um, you know, pickled eggs. That's something that should not be canned. There's evidence that has, if you're canning it, put it in the refrigerator. I'm saying it's not shelf stable. So knowing those things. Anyway, I'm gonna scroll up and see what I've started. Okay. Bow tie is 16 feet above sea level. Oh my goodness. Good luck. And Robin's at 10 pounds pressure. Bowtie says you're getting too complicated for my ADHD brain. If I had to concern myself with all that, I wouldn't can. Electric is my speed. All. Okay. Is digital, highly rated for accuracy. And again, you make your own you make your own decisions, but think about what I've said and make your own reasonings that are appropriate for you. Yep. And Shawnee, he's here. Hello. Bowtie's electric canner has a weight. Really? That is news to me. Okay. Bowtie says Presto Precise, the first digital pressure canners that meet USDA home canning guidelines for safety, processing meats, poultry, fish, vegetables, and other low acid foods. Yeah, so they meet guidelines. It doesn't mean that it's USDA approved. And a lot of people say that, oh, this was an approved thing. It's not approved, it's that they meet the guidelines. Yeah, that's the way to say it. Bowtie also says innovative sensor holds the exact temperature required for safe pressure canning. No adjustments needed, even for pressure canning at high altitudes. Meet standards not approved, but again, it is weight gauge. If you have a weight gauge, then I need to adjust my answer because your weight gauge is the important piece of that. I probably was still never using, but the weight gauge does it have instructions on, like, does it jiggle? Does it rattle? Does it have like a pressure release? Because anything is not going to have like exactly the right thing forever. All right. Jacob says I bought a weight gauge for my Presto canner. Yep. And so Presto has, and I've never had a Presto. I only have an American one. But Presto, I don't know if all the canners have that option, but they do. They do. Some of them do, at least. So like you'll see me canning, and you'll see this tomorrow on my video. But you'll see me canning, and there is a dial on mine which does have the pressure, but I only use that to know if I'm getting close. It's not quite accurate. And then also when the pressure goes down, I don't open it until that needle is down all the way. So that's the only thing I use it for. And everything is judged off of the weight. So yeah, so Jacob's saying that he bought a weight for his Presto canner. So now that he has the weight, he doesn't have to judge it based off of the dial. Your new thing you look at is the weight. Yeah. All right. Shawnee says, feels like 3 degrees. I don't even need a coat now. LOL, heat wave. Oh my gosh. Bowtie likes trying new things. I think you're right, Shawnee. Bowtie says, I am totally insulted. Not really. You can have your opinion. You can agree with me or you can be wrong. Really? That was a joke too. I'm so tired. I better go to bed. Uh-oh. Yeah. Okay. Robin says, Nesco has 2 interchangeable regular weights. Okay. So if it has a weight, then that is, so if you have a weight, that is your way of knowing what the pressure is. And that was my issue with the electric pressure canners. This is the first conversation, and both you guys said this. This is the first conversation I've had with people that they say that it has a weight. And just make sure you put the right weight for your elevation. Okay, this is good news, Robin. Okay. Bowtie says to Shawnee, I've eaten 2 eggs on a piece of toast for breakfast every day for nearly 5 decades. Me and change do not get along at all. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I think whatever. You're good at change. You're good at change. Oh. All right. So that is the key change, or that is the key piece of information there, is that if you have a weight, if it's a weight gauge, then you're going to have it'll be a better result because you have a knowable right then and there. You know that this is the right thing. Now, I like to see it in action. I haven't looked up any of these things because I didn't know that anybody had weight gauges on their electric. I looked at one that was actually so my 13 quart pressure cooker was advertised as a cooker / canner, and I did can in it once, and then I discovered that that's not something you're supposed to do. It's set for 10 pounds of pressure, which was appropriate where I was. But when you, that was my first experience with like, oh, what is an electric one? And it definitely, you cannot on this one even tell what the pressure is. And so, yeah, I ate those soups very quickly. I put them in the fridge. Yeah. Okay. Robin says to Bowtie, what, you change your headset every time I see you? Oh my goodness. Well, that's his constant though. That's the change is the constant. Right? Isn't that it? Oh my goodness. Okay. Do we have any other drama about sorry about drama into this. Do we have any other comments about canning or pressure canning, anything like that? Yeah. A Bowtie says, my most watched video is a detailed first run of my Presto Precise digital pressure canner. Okay. I think it's free in Oregon. Thanks, Bowtie. I will look that up. My most frequently watched video was a video I almost didn't do. And that is how to sew hardware cloth. Super simple. Didn't think I would do it. I was like, I need to do a video today because I don't have anything filmed already. This is what I'm doing today. It's getting filmed. By filmed, I mean not on film. Yeah. It's interesting what gets the most views. And it's funny because it's been a few years since that happened, but it's still the most, I don't think it has the most views, but it's the most regularly viewed. Yeah. It's pretty interesting when they give you that, like they give you like a report at the end of the year, and you get to see what people have been watching. And I mean, you could do that any day. I used to pay attention to that stuff, and now I'm like, no, it's too much stuff. I'm just gonna put out what I want to put out. I'll answer comments, all that, but yeah. But it is funny what the most viewed thing is. So if you want to learn how to sew hardware cloth, I have a video about it. I'm not saying like crocheting. I'm saying here's some hardware cloth, let's put it together. And I have a very slick way of doing it. Robin says, LOL, my highest viewed is a do-it-yourself Dollar Tree tower planter. It blew up last spring. Crazy. Awesome. It's weird sometimes what people latch onto. Yeah. Now for tower gardens, I do like green stock. And if you do want green stock, I have a $10 off your first purchase down in the in every description of every video. They are great. Their watering system works well. Yeah. Bowtie says, I got 14 headsets all about the same time. Because you have 14 heads? Or did your podcasters not show up? Okay. I've been going through them all to figure out priorities of use. Best ones get used first, others are backup. Then those yellow ones are for work, but best. That's why I keep changing them. Got to keep them fresh, huh? You got to keep them in the rotation. Do you ever tell people, "Oh no, that was the green one that day. Look for one that I'm wearing a green headset." Okay. Okay, there's a reason we like this. He inherited them from a closed medical clinic. Okay. It's not just that you love headsets. Oh. I've been noticing when I do my lives that the darker it gets outside, which in this winter it is, that's not purple anymore. But then if I go closer, it goes to the color it's supposed to be. But then I feel like I'm really close. Anyway, yeah. Alrighty. Now that we have conquered the world with all of our conversation, it might be time for dinner. So I'm going to do a quick check on Ringo after we hang up here, and then have dinner. I don't know what he was yelling at. It was probably the cat again. All right. Bowtie says, I do perfectly rotate my shirts and bow ties and socks and underwear. That might not always match the bow ties. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. TMI, I think not, he says. Robin says, here I thought you were trying to match whichever pair of Mrs. B's glasses you stole for the episode. Oh my goodness. You guys are funny. You guys are funny. Bowtie's up late. All right, guys. Well, I'm thinking it's time to head out. I have dinner to eat and a video to finish editing. And yeah. So good to have you guys on. Okay, Mrs. Bowtie's glasses get stolen based on bow tie color. Oh my gosh. You can get your own glasses. Or do you guys have the same? Anyway. Save you? He says, save me, Katrina. Say goodnight. Okay. We're saying goodnight. And we will see you guys. Tomorrow is a soup video. The pasture video on Thursday, and then we're back here on Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So, yes, thank you. She says, Robin says, thank you for the food thought on the canners. Yep, it's at least think it through. But that was the key information that I needed is the jiggler, the weight gauge. So yeah. All right. Good night, guys.